Hello, women. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. This is Motherhood Empowerment. I'm Bianca Asia Saeed, and I want to talk about something really hard to talk about in polite society. So there seems to be this general shift in the culture where, let's just say abortion is a lot more acceptable than it has been in the past. And I want to offer a perspective here. And I know that if you are a subscriber to my channel, you probably already agree with me. But if you're not, keep listening. This is interesting. And this is what us humans exist for all together, right? Is to exchange ideas and talk about things and work things out and unveil new perspectives, get into somebody else's head, see how they think. I just wanted to offer this because it's disturbing how lightly it's taken. And I think it has to do with feminism and, the sexual liberation movement and the economic climate that we're in. So hear me out. I think that abortion is ultimately the greatest harm to a woman. Why is that? At its most basic, fundamental, the foundation of my point rests on the fact that women are designed to bear children. And so if you believe that there is a great designer, an intelligent divine designer, which we know is the creator, the great spirit, God, Allah, if there is a great entity that created all of us, right? Which is genderless, which has no human characteristics, right? Isn't there something to us being able to bear children? It's not just the circumstance of oh yeah, we can have sex and get pregnant and we just so happen to be the female species, so it's an inconvenience, and the guys get off scot-free and blah, blah, blah. No, there is meaning to everything. There's significance to everything. And I think it's the biggest lie ever told to women who have lived in my lifespan, because that's the experience I'm having, that abortion is a form of female empowerment and that it's healthcare, that killing your child, ripping them apart limb by limb, starving them, evicting them essentially, is shitty. And I think that a lot of women that even are pro-choice would agree that it's a shitty thing to do. And I think that there's a lot of arguments made about consciousness and this and that to make everybody feel better about the decisions that they make. I think that it's an easy out to pregnancy and motherhood is what it is. It's an easy out compared to the labor and delivery, compared to the pregnancy itself, compared to the expansiveness that happens, the expansion that happens when you become a mother, when you make room in your life for a child, because that is a far greater struggle than an abortion ever will be. An abortion is for a set amount of time, and don't get me wrong, I do believe that you will suffer for the rest of your life for it. And I say that with compassion, but I'm talking, this is how I talk. I'm direct and I'm saying exactly what's on my mind, and I'm talking about ideas here, right? I'm not attacking any single person. I'm simply communicating this idea that motherhood, with all of its challenges and beauty, is a great struggle. It's designed to be that way. We are designed to become pregnant and have a struggle so that we can create that awareness and that room in our lives for the challenges that children naturally bring into life. And it's so worth it. I mean, it's not just that oh, you get a little cutie that looks like you or your husband, or ooh, they're fun and they're so sweet. No, it goes way beyond that. Having children is having the most clear mirror put up to you, and you are offered opportunities time and again to up level your own emotional regulation, your creative problem solving, the amount of physical, I was going to say pain. That's one of them. Pain that you can endure, how you approach situations. It's the ultimate growth package, right? Mental, physical, spiritual, everything, right? So the greatest robbery that ever took place, the greatest lie that ever took place within my, millennial experience here, or probably even further back, right? Whenever this whole sexual liberation crap started happening, which is that abortion, killing your child, is an acceptable solution and a form of female empowerment. It's a lie. It's just bullshit. That's what it is. What I propose, okay, is a society in which women are revered for being women. Women are revered for the ability that they have to bear children, to be the uniquely qualified caretaker of those children, which nobody else can fulfill that role. Raising the next generation, right? Not only that, everything else that a woman does, right? However, this is what differentiates us from men. And so it's important that we have these distinctions that we can respect, right? So we can respect each other. I mean, there's so much fighting about, equality and this and that, and there's no respect going both ways. It's just everybody's being selfish. And I don't get it. It's like, it's pretty obvious. Like when you're born with certain body parts, you go through puberty a certain way, and that is your lot in life. Like that is, if you are a woman, you most likely have the ability to bear children. You most likely have the urge to nest. You most likely have the unique ability to be around children. Now, not saying anything can't interfere with that, because socialization can interfere with that and sabotage and pervert it. That is true. But the main thing I just want to say is like, let's try to look at children as not just, like I said, oh, they're adorable, they're a blessing. They are, but like that's not the greatest thing about them. The greatest thing about them is that they challenge us to level up every day of the week. You can't get that dose of medicine anywhere else. You can't. I've been in the military. I play basketball. I've been a teacher. I've been a big oldest sibling of 5. I've been, the oldest daughter of 2 18-year-olds, straight out the trailer park, didn't know what they were doing. Like, in my experience, which is a pretty vast experience, and I'm not saying it's exactly the same for everyone, but like, I have never engaged in anything besides motherhood that is this challenging and this refreshing and this like beautiful. And so I think that society is really taking something from you when they tell you that abortion is an option, that it's an acceptable option. They're actually fucking you over is what they're doing. They don't care enough about you, right? What I think, and here comes my big solution to all these problems, make men providers again. It is my religious belief and my common sense belief, I guess, that men should be providing for women. Men should be providing women with what they need and what they want. Now, of course, both men and women have to be healthy and respectful. That's a given. But men should be providing for women what they need and what they want. They should be supporting us, right? And what should we be doing? Women should be considering motherhood to be a sacred honor and a privilege, but also something that you are entitled to respect and support and being provided for. I say make men providers again. Secondary to abortion being an acceptable solution, being the biggest lie ever told, the second one was that you don't need a man. Now, I'm not saying you can't do things on your own, but what I am saying is that men and women need each other. There's no getting around it. Men and women need each other, yin and yang. And so why aren't we holding men responsible, right? If a woman gets taken advantage of, that guy should be if a woman gets raped, the guy should be on death row, okay? If a guy impregnates a woman and runs away, He should be jailed, and he should be working off that money that he needs to pay for her housing, for her food, and for anything else she needs for the kid and for herself to survive a reasonable existence, right? She shouldn't have to provide for herself if she's raising kids. Women should not have to work if they have children. They should not have to, okay? So many people talk about like, well, but what about people that can't? Well, you know what? First of all, I'm not talking to those people that are desperate and truly cannot make it work to stay home because they're in a particular situation. But the way that most of society works, okay, is that people would rather have more disposable income, right? Women would rather avoid motherhood altogether because it is challenging. And these days it is isolating, okay? In order to make an income, in order to go be an adult, like to be around other people in their developmental age, right? And to not be isolated. And men would rather have lots and lots more money by making their woman work. And I disagree. I think men and women should stop being selfish. And I think that we should fall back into the natural order of things, the natural design of things, which is that society supports and respects women as mothers, right? Women and mothers. And that us women in society support in different ways the men and respect the men. And it's like, I'm not talking about like going back to like, the Old Testament times where like, or like, countries where like the women are beat and they can't speak and like they have to do all the cooking and cleaning. I'm not talking about that, dude. I'm simply talking about men are stronger, they're bigger, they have more testosterone, they should be out there secure in the bag. And they should be bringing those resources home to mama, okay? And what the woman should be doing is nesting as it feels natural to her, right? And raising the kids. Raising the kids is number one. Everything else comes after that. If you can't manage keeping a clean house, your husband needs to provide you with a maid. If you cannot manage cooking healthy, nutrient-dense meals to feed yourself and your kids while your husband's at work, because, the social support, the family support system has all but fallen apart for our generation, then your husband needs to provide enough funds that you can have a cook or like a meal plan service or whatever it is, whatever shortcut you need to make it work. Okay? Motherhood is sacred. It's not a burden. And motherhood is your greatest opportunity to level up in this life. It is the whole self-development industry altogether. And so I get so frustrated when people are arguing about abortion. It's like, dog, don't you know that like you're arguing against like your own self-development? Like you will not be able to reach your potential if you go along in life with the mindset of like, oh yeah, like I'm a female, so I'm just going to get pregnant and I'm just going to kill it and I'm just going to move on with my life and like it's all good. That is such a lie. And then the second lie, men don't need to provide for us. They do. They do. Men should be providing for women and women should be raising their own children, right? And I get that there's external circumstances and different people in different situations, but if I'm talking to you and you know the shoe fits, consider it. Consider this as an idea of like restoring the natural order to things and rebalancing, getting back to like supporting, respecting, and loving one another, complementing our differences, and celebrating our distinctions, okay? You want to get to a place, what we want to do is get to a place in society where men and women are equally respected, not just for their individuality, but also just for their distinct differences. Like there should be a deep respect for women who bear children. Men can't do that. There should be a deep respect for women who stay home to raise their children. It's so difficult, but the payoff long term is so great. There should be a deep respect for men who go out and provide for their families. Women who are mothers cannot do that the same way because you've got that biological and that mental, that DNA in your brain that's like pulling you back to your kids. You feel shitty. You feel guilty. You can't get as much done. We have periods, for crying out loud, dude. We don't need to be out there working, getting money. We are busy. Okay? So rant over, but I just wanted to offer that because I am so sad for so many young girls and, so many young girls that like, they treat, motherhood like it's like, oh my gosh, like, I want kids, but like, kill me now, right? And like, they have this disdain for kids and like, they're just, they're so out of touch with their feminine nature that it's like you're missing out on so much. Start holding men accountable, start holding yourself accountable, and hopefully we can get back into a place where we're balanced again. All right, until next time.